I think it came first from the shame of the life I lived. I couldn't answer simple questions from university mates when someone would say, is your father still in Cameroon? I wouldn't answer that. How many siblings do you have? I don't want to say I have 75 siblings. No. So at one point I found a parade with that question. I would say my mother had 2 daughters. that was it. Because I was just so ashamed. I was ashamed someone would meet my mother and they didn't speak perfect French. I was so ashamed of that. So I wouldn't let my mother come to anything when that concerned my studies, where I was with my friends. I would try to avoid inviting people to my apartment where I lived with my mother and things like that. So yeah, the shame and the guilt, like just this feeling that I was broken. And after my bachelor's, I had a scholarship or several scholarships to go do my master's at the London School of Economics. And that's where things started crumbling for me, because this sense of inadequacy, of not fitting in, was even stronger, because these were like kids some of them came from really extraordinary backgrounds. I just felt I couldn't tell my story. So I had a polished version. I would tell people not to alarm them because I was afraid of pity. I felt if I told my story, people would pity me. And that was worse than, I don't know, that was the worst thing for me, the feeling. I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone this happened to me and they'll pity me. I didn't want pity. But what I didn't know at the time was that I could also have maybe compassion, empathy. I didn't know about that. I only saw pity, and I didn't want that. So I would say a light version of, I grew up in Cameroon, then I came to Switzerland, then I went to school, and then I had my bachelor's from the University of Geneva, and then I got accepted into the London School of Economics, and then I got a scholarship, and here I am.
Right? Everything's good. Like you, and right? It's like you had the same history as other rich kids or kids who didn't have a traumatic background.
Yeah. So I canceled all the trauma from my narrative of myself.